Because Trump has consistently acted like a cartoonishly evil Bond villain, why stop now? New reports out today that he's finalizing plans to allow oil and gas companies to drill in the historic Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, described as America's last untouched wilderness, all 1.6 million acres of it to oil and gas on the same day as the highest temperature ever reliably recorded was logged in Death Valley. And this is nothing new. Trump has been chipping away at Alaska's ecosystems for years now. In 2018, he allowed for offshore drilling right next to the National Wildlife Refuge. This is a report from 2018. Obviously, this makes it just worse.
The Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, commonly known as ANWR, is the kind of pure wilderness most of America paved over long ago. Nature lovers have long argued there is no need to drill here. And for decades, that argument held. Until
one day, a friend of mine who's in the oil business called, "Is it true that you have ANWR in the bill?" I said, "I don't know. Who cares? What is that?" They said, "Well, you know, Reagan tried. Every single president tried." I said, "You got to be kidding. I love it now." And after that, we fought like hell to get ANWR. He talked me into it.
December's tax cut bill also opened ANWR to drilling, thanks to Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, who slipped in the provision, knowing that it would only need 51 instead of 60 votes to pass.
Thank you, moderate Lisa Murkowski, holding Trump accountable and being that conscious of the Republican Party by letting him run rampant over the beautiful resources and national wildlife in your state. So notice how the Drain the Swamp candidate there was talking about his conversations with big oil executives. Not the people, big money, CEOs, and making his decisions based on that. He said he was going to drain the swamp, except he became the swamp and always was the swamp. It's always projection with him, which is just fascinating to me. And then, of course, there are reports that the oil industry is pouring money back into his re-election bid because this is how the game works. He got money from them in 2016, he did their bidding, and now they're rewarding him with more money so they can get more return on their investment. It sounds pretty swampy to me. But more details on the news today because, make no mistake, this is disastrous. The Trump administration finalized plans Monday to open up the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to drilling, a move that will auction off oil and gas rights in the heart of one of the nation's most iconic wild places. The move will allow leasing on the 1.6 million acre coastal plan, the center of a nearly pristine wilderness home to migrating caribou and waterfowl, as well as polar bears and foxes that live there year round. It marks a major step toward reviving fossil fuel development in an area that has been untouched for 3 decades. It provides habitat for more than 270 different species, including 900 denning polar bears, 250 musk oxen, and 300,000 snow geese. While Congress authorized drilling on the coastal plain in 1980, that's when Trump was referencing Reagan, opponents have managed to block energy development there for decades. It is unclear which companies will bid on leases in the refuge and risk a potential backlash from conservation groups and the public. In an April poll, Yale and George Mason universities found that 33% of registered voters supported drilling for oil there, while 67% opposed it. The government estimates there could be 11 billion gallons of recoverable oil on the coastal plain. Wow. Those seismic surveys have not been conducted since the 1980s. Initially, the administration projected that leasing would generate $1.8 billion in revenue over a decade, but it has subsequently cut that estimate in half. That estimate shocked me because $1.8 billion in revenue over a decade and then cut that in half for a big oil conglomerate, huge corporation, is not that much. But they know they're a dying industry. They get subsidies from the government, our taxpayer dollars, and then they get corrupt payouts like this from the Trump administration. That's how little it takes in revenue for them to destroy one of the most beautiful wild places in this country. They see images of polar bears soaked in oil, and they think, look at that. We can get some marginal profits here. It's sick, and the Trump administration is rubber stamping it. Of course they are.